What's up everyone, it's Paul and Lafon bringing you another Overwatch League recap video.
NYXL not going to find any headway in this one. Chengdu Hunters reading the play very, very nicely, just as NYXL were doing to them a moment ago on Hollywood.
And this is, by the way, the defensive advantage for a player like Jinmu on Chengdu right now. The fact that you can get the early harassment as a defensive Sombridge is going towards the attacker's spawn here, 18, 17%, slightly above Sabiolbi. He's able to cash that in now while the EMP comes through for Jinmu. Sabiolbi is only on, 90 to 95%. It's a slight difference, but it's a big enough difference that allows Chengdu to get the upper edge.
Also, that was only really one fight. That's the first genuine approach NYXL have made to the point, and they are less than half of their time remaining now. Chengdu also, our ultimate advantage. That being said, when everyone's EMP'd, there is no such thing as ultimate advantage, as Among getting absolutely popped in that early part of the fight. Links trying to keep the rest of the team alive. Chengdu need to figure out how they're going to approach the rest of this leave sides. They want the extra armor out of that, but as he's bionated, I don't know if it's going to be a reality for them. Unfortunately, it is not. Got back into the Echo, and NYXL ticking up some percentage. Chengdu, they will have Among back in the mix in a hot second now, but by the time that happens, this point it's going to be almost entirely capped.
That's because Chengdu, look, they don't have enough cap remaining to give away at this stage. Among should be back in the fight now. We need to see the Primal Rage pretty quickly. Links onto Jonak is pretty huge. If Libero can get this kill onto either Leave or Jinmu, that would be even bigger for NYXL.
That was a nice find onto Jonak, but he did get that nano boost off, so that's kept NYXL in it. But now Chengdu starting to take the lead. The DMAC on Hotfire, he will get finished off as well. Elsa go and hunt the killer for that, and Among as well. Deep onto Arnamo. Won't quite be able to finish him off, but it is going to force NYXL back, and that's the more important thing. Not losing that point gives them the chance to still completely hold here.
Now, if I didn't know who was playing right now, I would have assumed that this was New York defending against Chengdu, just staying alive, keeping guys like Among still in the mix. Yes, he did go down, but he comes back, uses the Primal Rage. The rest of Chengdu were able to still hold on, even without their main tank. And now Jinmu has the ultimate advantage again in terms of the EMP. We've seen him win with that already.
He has that over Sabiolbi, that's the critical thing. Leave though!
Oh
boy, it is traded though. Libero goes down as well on the converse of that, and that's the big one. Sabiolbi getting popped at 99%, only 10 seconds left. NYXL, I don't know if they can afford to wait for that respawn. Mano barely gets a Primal Rage off, but Hopper hacked out, not going to be able to get that self-destruct off for a little while yet. NYXL need to figure out how to stay in this one as the overtime begins. They continue to lose members. Hopper D-Mac just shy of a self-destruct, and it's looking like Chengdu are going to do this one here. The EMP to come out to help close out on Mano. Now it's just a few straggling respawners coming in. Sabiolbi gets the EMP off, but it's all just for show. No substance behind it. Nobody able to follow up as Libero is popped. And that's going to be it, Kevin. That's going to be the hold coming through for Chengdu Hunters.
That is unbelievable. We can see that both of the Echo players got traded for each other, but the big one to talk about, Sabiolbi, dying on 99%. They needed the EMP, and New York had one shot at that. He eventually comes back, used the EMP on the point, but no one's alive from New York to really assist with this. Chengdu have held on. 91.6 is the progress for New York. When we thought Chengdu were going to lose the cap, when Among went down, it was probably all over. They have to hold on for dear life. Their legs up with the rally pop. Molly couldn't keep Among alive either. And you thought, okay, we're just going to go to B here. Pretty standard play for Volskaya. And I have to keep saying, look, if we didn't know which team was which in this particular matchup, you would have assumed it was New York defending first, and they were able to successfully defend against Chengdu. But now, Chengdu in position to win. In position to bring us to a 2-1.
The thing is, it feels like Chengdu haven't just shifted up one gear. They've shifted up two, right? Because previously on Hollywood, we were talking about not finishing off kills, not winning fights that they maybe should be, where they have the ultimate advantage. They get those early connections, they get members down low early in the fight, and then don't kill them. Now it feels like not only are they winning those fights they should be winning, they're also winning some of the ones that they shouldn't be winning.
Exactly.
Like the one where Amon goes down early. Suddenly NYXL are playing against a much more formidable opponent than a map ago.
And now you have to start opening up the conversation in New York. Maybe they're the ones not really finishing off kills. Look at where Chengdu were. They lost Among. The rest of the players were somehow able to just keep things going. By the time, get the primal in there from Among to come all the way from B spawn. Chengdu now failing a really poor attacking phase. You can imagine that within 4 minutes, surely they'll get 91.6.
I dare say I would have said the same of NYXL, and obviously that didn't come to fruition, so I'm never going to count my chickens here, or indeed never going to count my hunters. Now, it doesn't really have the same ring to it, but either way, that's Sabiolbi really diced him with death there, but he has got a bit of ult charge for his trouble.
And that's the 20% extra that can get them the early EMP. That was really crucial for Jinmu and Chengdu just a little bit early on. Chengdu still looking for positioning here. They haven't quite found the entry, and they are losing time because Sabiolbi is already on 57.
I mean, yeah, it's far more than a 20% lead now. It's starting to get into the realms, rather, of 30% or more. The Sabiolbi piling ahead of Jinmu. That's going to be a real critical one. I think Chengdu know that their window is fast closing, but it might have closed already with Amon going down. They're trying to get pressure on the point, maybe at least walk away with the third, but it's not looking like it's going to be possible, and Chengdu know it. They're going to back out, live to fight another day.
And how many low members from New York
Hold on,
was there,
Mano.
by the way? Mano, he has got to stay alive here. It's a little bit risky from New York to try and go for this kind of dive, but again, they stay alive. We're looking at defensive teams, so both teams on the defense were kind of able to defy death a little bit. If New York lost even one member, that could have been very different. Now the EMP will be in play for the second fight. Jinmu still not quite there.
He could get there in time, though, and that's really what Chengdu need to hang this one on. But if Sabiolbi reads the play and gets that in before Jinmu has finished off his charge, then that could just be a freebie for NYXL. They're hitting the go button already. That's a nano boost in from Jonak, but Libero does need to watch himself, and the EMP only lands on Amon, who is not really in a lot of danger. In fact, it's Sabiolbi in danger. Do not discount the hacked gorilla, as NYXL now on the back foot. Not a lot left in the tank here. The rally is one thing. They will at least have...
Sabiolbi is hacked up once again. This could be a kill though. Leave now.
Ooh. Nice follow-up there from Libero to make sure that one sticks. And Mano, Libero both low but neither down. And suddenly it seems like we're back to normal for Chengdu, but maybe not anymore. Sabiolbi does go down and Libero finally gets finished off. So it's only Mano that actually escapes the kind of low health death trap there and might not live for much longer here. Molly popping down to low ground, getting healed up by Lengsa, and they're going to stay alive, just playing point guard for one another are those supports. And now suddenly NYXL again grinding to a halt with about half of their total time gone.
I think a lot of the pressure against Mano so far once more comes from Molly. How many crucial sleep darts is he hitting? He's hitting a ton of bio nades as well. I think Jonak has been hitting decent bio nades, but we're not seeing the same effectiveness, the same impact come through from the sleep dart itself. Big news here is that Jinmu didn't have to use the EMP in the last fight, so it's all 6 available for Chengdu.
Merry Christmas. That's the full set of lights on my tree, my Chengdu Hunters Christmas tree. Hack onto Libero's critical. No duplicate for you, sir. Lee follows that one up, and NYXL back on the retreat. If they can win this fight with just that one ultimate invested, the duplicate out of Leave, that's going to be a very cheap one. But no, NYXL are going to make Chengdu work for this a little bit more.
Chengdu are in position right now to get a bit more clean up. New York don't want to commit into this fight. The fact that Libero just dies, by the way, to the combination of Leave and Jinmu, this is, again, more kills, more single picks coming through that really slowed down New York. Animo, rallies coming through now. This is when New York want to push.
They are still coming into this low on ultimates. That only catches 2, but Lengths has already been able to get the rally off. They need to get those finish offs quick, smart, but Jonak's already down to the self-destruct on the other side as Jinmu's connection far better onto NYXL than what Sabiolbi accomplished on Chengdu. So with that, Chengdu Hunters again cleaning up, and that's that ultimate advantage just kind of played out straight. All ultimates used except Molly's nano boost, and as the dust settles, Chengdu have again held.
And Jinmu has ever slightly more EMP for the next charge as well. More charge for the EMP, rather. Jinmu gets 4 there. Sabiolbi pulls the trigger first, but Jinmu's is just that much more effective, like you mentioned. Molly doesn't even have to use the nano boost, and coming into what will potentially be the last fight here, 35 seconds remaining. New York have barely made progress onto A. Chengdu now in position for the full hold.
I'm going to ask again, do you believe? But now I'm going to ask, do you believe in miracles? It's starting to feel like NYXL are going to need one. They have nothing in the tank here with only 20 seconds left. Sleep onto Elsa, though. That's a D-Mech. Nanobu going to get popped out from Molly, but they need to get kills. They need to make something happen here because those cooldowns are starting to come through from NYXL. Will have themselves a Primal Rage soon, and it's Chengdu who are waiting for Elsa's remake.
Jinmu will have the EMP in this fight as well, you can imagine. Big Bonet coming through for Jonak. Needs to find a couple of kills though.
Animo! Again, why is it the members getting bionated that aren't the members going down? That's unbelievable. It's a 2-for-2 trade right now, and Among is certainly the bigger pick of the lot. It's Leave having to take up that tank role, but now EMP coming across from Jinmu. Can they follow it up? They might just be able to. Just between Jinmu and Leave, they've got Elsa still in the mix. Was able to remech. Leave down. Mano keeping his team in this, but only barely, and now not anymore. NYXL, they may have that close to respawn, but that's about all they've got going for them right now. Chengdu have managed to keep this on lockdown. Molly Molly speeds back in on the Lucio to keep some presence. Overtime will disappear. That wick burns so fast right about now. Might not be able to get on this one. It is barely hot for keeping it alive, but NYXL have reinforced. Now a second EMP to come through and Elsa D-Mech lengths a pop. No rally to come out. NYXL, it looks like they're going to keep this one alive, but how long for?
And finally, we get to see the NYXL that we thought showed up to this game actually show up now. Mano, he's still able to get some kills. Libero going on the hunt as well. This is going to be a little bit of a cleanup. Few more staggered kills, but it costs him everything. Sabielby and Libero both come back with an ultimate. Both will end up being used. How that started as well was so critical. Jorek dies as the nano boost comes up. Jinmu once more just gets huge connection. If Leave actually survives right towards the end there, I think Chengdu hold.
It felt like it was going to be Chengdu's, but you've got to credit NYXL for just keeping that one alive, and feels like we're back to where they were on Hollywood if that continues to be the case. Look, they might be short on time, but they can still get a lot of work done. They're not going to go quiet, that's for much sure.
Now Jinmu, he's leading again. It's going to come down to the DPS players. There's still not a lot of time. New York can maybe afford a couple of losses here or there, but realistically, they need to get a little bit more progress. Mano, like you said, that's not ideal.
That's really not. NYXL wheel back into full retreats, and indeed the rest of these members look like they might just get out safe here. Pretty critical for them. Elsa, nice self-destruct. That keeps some pressure on, and they decide to pile in on top of that. Just kind of forced NYXL in an inescapable location. Nicely done by Chengdu, where NYXL were otherwise going to safely retreat.
And here I thought Jinmu was going to have to use the EMP. Chengdu would have to expend resources, but nope. Just comes down to a beautifully placed Molly. Prof Byron, looks like a Molly coming through from him. And Chengdu once more repelled the threat in New York. At this stage of the game, less than 1 minute remaining. A-Monk just slipped right at the gate, but a Molly again.
Nice bio grenade to cover them, like you said, from Molly landing that one through. And now eyes on Jinmu. This EMP could just end it before it starts, and NYXL might not get a second chance.
EMP, that's a critical call. I think we've said this already, but that's really what will stop this push. Libero receives the nano boost, instantly slipped.
Leave does also have to pop the duplicate to go into the Winston, and a very quick primal rage charged up. This is huge. Animo's in trouble here. Both the Winstons bearing down on them as Libero goes down early. Massive! And the EMP just helping this all stick. Less than 20 seconds now is Chengdu cleaning up those members. NYXL, they're going to have one last shot to pile onto the cart just because it hasn't moved very far.
So importantly, Sabielby survives. If he goes down, that's the EMP maybe taken out of this fight. Now 2 ultimates available. It's back down to Libero Sabielby. They need to carry the team again. Animo's ready up. The Hotbutt will lose the mech.
He only loses the mech though. He wasn't hacked, so he could use that self-destruct to reset it. And with that, they have managed to get the overtime. Now EMP raking across Chengdu. It's Elsa D-Mech. Among, even though he got the primal rage off, he doesn't have a lot of gas left in the tank, and now going down. Fully breaks down on the highway there, NYXL. Looking like they're once again in control and in charge. It becomes an overtime scrap, but this one a little bit less dire than the one for point A, and off the back of it, they will cap B.
The clutch potential here is really coming through for NYXL. We thought they probably weren't going to cap A, they got that one. We thought maybe it wasn't going to happen onto B, they get that one as well. When it gets to the overtime, it seems like New York are able to just go on to this next level, this next gear. Chengdu, they fall apart right at the final second. If they end up losing Watchpoint Gibraltar, it will be because of those overtime pushes.
And I mean, is this going to be snatching defeat from the jaws of victory for Chengdu? Twice now they've had an opportunity to close out the map in what would be a very favorable position. Now, even if they close it out, they're going to have to do a lot of work on their offense. And NYXL, speaking of offenses, they are certainly not done with theirs just yet, as Leave down Hopper in a hot lot of trouble, but he is going to stay alive. Once again, Chengdu back to the classic of not quite finishing off these NYXL members.
Waiting for Lee to rejoin the fight here, so important. Jinmu going down as well. Look at him, he was on 92%. This will be the push now. New York are in position. Libero is still fragging. He will have another duplicate.
Good news is Jinmu comes right out the gate. He will get that EMP up, but he is still leading Sabielby despite those few seconds of being dead. But he is going to still need to get a good connection in both these tanks. Among and Elsa both are in trouble. Elsa can at least reset the mech, but Among, you can't reset your regular health bar. Good catch onto Libero, though. That is an opportunity for NYXL, but that opportunity is going to be stopped up short by a 5-mana from Sabielby, followed up nicely by Hotba. And with that NYXL, once again, I think we might just barely see a lick of overtime here. But if that's what it takes for NYXL to get it over the line, then hey, if it's scrappy but it works, then it works, and you cap the map.
It seems like for New York right now, as we do expect them to be able to finish Watchpoint Gibraltar, like a wounded animal in the corner. They are so dangerous when they have their backs against the wall. Time and time again for Chengdu, we have to keep revisiting what happened onto A, what happened onto B, and now again onto the C point as well. As the time starts running out, as we head into the overtime, that final push for New York, where we think this could be it for them, this is not the one they'll be able to win, that is precisely the one they win every single time, and that's why they will have a time bank.
Suddenly the shoe's back on the other foot, right? And I almost wish I hadn't said it. I feel like I jinxed Chengdu. I said on Volskaya, they leveled up twice. They were winning the fights that they were previously losing where they should have won, and were also winning the ones where you'd expect them to lose. Now it's gone completely back the other direction. We're back to Hollywood, where they're losing the fights they should win, and then they're losing the other ones too. Look, they were still bringing NYXL down to the wire. A was their best moment of defense for Chengdu, but after that, it feels like they kind of ran out of X Factor.
That sounds like a bit of a riddle. Basically, what we're trying to say here is we're back to square one. We're back to expectations. We're back to on-paper predictions here, where New York come in as the favored team, and they look like the favored team again. It's not easy for them. It's taken them a while to be able to get to the position where they are winning, but I think this is New York that we expected to show up, and they need to keep up this form because Chengdu are still on match point. Chengdu could still make this one a 3-1 victory, and if nothing else, if we go to a game 5 and that 5 here, back on control, and I think Chengdu would be favored.
And that's the thing. Look, that 2-1 lead that Chengdu have accrued means that they are still in the favorable position, even though that full cap out came through. Even if we go the same way as Hollywood, where these teams are in time bank, all it takes is for Chengdu to kind of flip the script from that one to close this one out. And Bog standard out the gate once again. They need to set a good time.
I think for New York as well, A is where they need to bleed the clock the hardest here. Chengdu were able to push this into overtime on their particular A defense. That has been the biggest in terms of difference between the two teams I think that we've seen. Jonak will open it with a bomb Bionate onto 2.
In spite of that, it's actually Molly leading in the ult charge incredibly, but I tell you who's leading in KDA. It's Libero finding out his counterpart and leave. That's going to give cause for pause for Chengdu, at least for a moment. Or maybe not.
They'll get the return kill to Animo, but Jimmu going down I think is going to be a bit problematic for Chengdu, as they are the attackers, so they will just be able to reset unless they can find another trade.
And that reset is the critical thing. Again, that slightly closer respawn, but man, Linkson needs to not go down, and Sabiobi nearly managed to make that one stick. What Sabiobi has managed to do, though, is almost completely charge an EMP.
That's going to be important now. New York, I can expect this fight to be over fairly quickly. His connection needs to be good. His EMPs have been fairly 50-50 though, so not too sure that it will be a guaranteed win. Molly in position to put a nano most likely onto Among, and that could be the position and the probability for Chengdu to maybe still turn things around.
I do feel like that window is closed ever so slightly for Molly. He had that before Jonak, or indeed before Sabiobi had EMP, but now it's actually Jonak who pulls the trigger first. Sabiobi follows there soon after. Molly also with the nano boost going out. No one dead outside. Actually, finally, Adamo going down. It feels like Chengdu have weathered the worst of it now as the primal rage from Among available, and just looking to stay patient. Looking to use that at a more critical opportunity. And there we go, Sabiobi getting picked. It's suddenly go time for NYXL, but Mano drilled down out of nowhere so fast. You have to respect that biotic grenade. It cares not for your primal rage. Chengdu now well in control of this cart and poised to cap with a far better time than NYXL.
And they just hold into the server room. Chengdu with the storm here. They absorb the EMP from Sabiobi. Molly drops another fat bionate onto 2 members, and New York are just trying to get their members alive right now. Jonak going down. This is going to be a staggered kill.
Libero.
And Among is going to make sure no one touches cart.
Sleep on Libero, but they don't quite finish him off. He and Sabiobi are still under threat, though. They need to be careful. In fact, it's actually Artemo who needs to watch his 6, and suddenly now NYXL reeling on the back foot. Mano playing point guard just to give them some breathing room to regroup, but Chengdu have forced them all the way out of this hangar.
And the most important talking point here is the fact that Chengdu have a lot of time remaining. They didn't get pushed into the overtime onto A. They're now going to have a decent amount of time to get through the rest of the map. A lot of ultimates. 5 online. That's an EMP onto 2. Jonak's got to try and stay alive.
Yeah, it's not the greatest of EMPs, unfortunately, as Jonak got that nano boost. It did stop Artemo, but certainly didn't stop Libero, who finds out Molly on the other side of things. And suddenly Chengdu is starting to run out of steam here. Force back double kill for Hotbar. Nice catch with the self-destruct there. I mean, Chengdu were already on the way out. They just didn't have a way to avoid that self-destruct, so good spotting of that opportunity by Hotbar.
Again, we go back to the notion of the fact that sometimes the EMPs are not panning up for these teams. At the halftime break, we were talking about the fact that the EMPs were landing, but the kills weren't coming in. This time around, the EMPs are not really landing effectively as we'd like to see. Jimmu just getting the 2. Both the supports already using their ult, staying alive, and New York holding on to this hangar point of B, and they need to bleed down this block quite a lot.
Well, guess who's getting bled down? It's Mano, no Primal Rage. Once again, that's so critical, and suddenly Chengdu, they come into the slightly more favored now, where otherwise I was afraid for what that EMP from Sabiobi could do to Chengdu, and NYXL need to find a better opportunity to take the fight. Chengdu going to try and stop that one short. They do not want a better opportunity to arise. Primal Rage barely keeps Among in it. They need to confirm kills, though. This has been what they've struggled with, finally getting one through onto Hotba, but they traded out for Among, and this isn't the clean wash that it needs to be for Chengdu. They're having to scrap. Finally, an EMP looking to be available for Jinmu, but unbelievably, no one's there for NYXL. Funnily enough, Chengdu still make it happen.
That was ridiculous. Mano goes down with the Primal Rage still to hand. I thought Among was going to be the one who ends up dying with Primal. He was firenated super low, but he wasn't hacked. Mano, though, can't really say the same about him. He unfortunately is going to be one of the reasons that New York are not going to be able to hold on to B. Jimmu doesn't have to use the EMP just yet, can now save it for what will be a very important push. You can see that Chengdu have a real potential to get a decent time back.
Started to fear for Chengdu in that fight, feeling like maybe they were going to start running out of steam, running out of that X Factor once again, but instead, great amount of time on the clock, and now it's all about pushing it to the end. Brilliant one! Interruption from Jinmu. They do still lose Lengser, but it's not the end of the world if they can keep trading these members out. Losing Molly is another tough break, but that respawn is still a possibility. NYXL, though, they're starting to pull back. They don't want to get out-traded in this one.
Well, this time around, Mano's going to keep the rest of the team alive, or at least allow the rest of NYXL to retreat with still their lives available. New York now trying to regroup for this next run around the corner. Still 2 minutes and 47 remaining. Among doing a lot of damage here, but Sabiobi is going to eat the dirt.
Yeah, beautiful fight there from Leaf to follow that one up, and suddenly Chengdu are firing on all cylinders again. Hack onto Hotbar is going to keep him under pressure. Will be able to self-destruct to renew that mech, but wasn't a comfortable one. Actually is able to force the unduplication from Leaf as a brilliant biotic grenade landing on the supports. Chengdu, it's not going to be smooth sailing. They do have to confirm it. Among might just get traded for Libero here, going back into the untransformed Echo. Hotba is actually going to be the trade, but Chengdu, again, it's not these big, quick, clean, punchy fights that we need to see out of them. New York Excelsior are slowly but surely starting to run down the clock.
Among needed to stay alive there. Primal Rage was just only a little bit away, and then Chengdu could have continued the push. Now they forced a Primal from Mano. That's very important. Mano could be stuck here as well.
Back onto Hotbar. His tank's under pressure. Chengdu have also fully respawned, and they have a lot of ultimates available. They are just regrouping.
Can't be taking too long though. 146. We talked about them walking on to see with plenty of time, but that time is slowly running out for them. They have a lot of ultimates. We've seen them miss before. That is going to be Sabiobi on the 3.
Nicely connected and followed up with the nano boost coming through onto Mano. The counter EMP, it's decent. In fact, it's better than decent as Chengdu being able to hit back double. Mano slept off in the side there is going to get dropped as well. It's only NYXL fighting themselves at only half strength, waiting for respawns. Libero will come through soon, but if more members die before that, before he can come back out of the spawn room, it's not going to count for much. NYXL have retreated for now.
Look at the positioning. Mano needs to try and contest this one. Both tanks alive. Jonak and Animo, though, they've been firing it out. Libero's even onto the McCree.
I like this. The nano boost onto Among, playing point guard, stopping those respawners. It is an absolutely classic Winston play, keeping them kettled, keeping them bottled up. In fact, doubling up on the Winstons. It's so effective, and like you said, Libero done so means NYXL struggling to bring anyone out to this fight. Self-destructed the backline. Will at least deal with Elsa. That's something, and that's definitely more than nothing. In fact, Among as well, and Chengdu might start running out of steam as soon as they stopped keeping a lid on NYXL. The pot boils over, and Chengdu only 30 seconds left now.
Every single time at the 11th hour, New York somehow bring it back. 30 seconds now remaining. Chengdu still have ultimates coming online. Sabiobi and Jinmu, both of them will have the EMP. See who pulls the trigger first. That could be the decider. Chengdu, they can still finish the map now, but they are on their final legs.
Eyes on Jinmu. He needs to get this EMP, and he needs to outdo Sabiobi. Granted, these EMPs have run very hot and cold for both these Sombras, but all it takes is one good one.
They spot each other as well.
Jonak's hacked, rather, nearly said Honak's jacked, but that would be a completely different situation. Among, though, he might be getting jacked off to the side here as, I know, the Primal Rage runs out, and he is going to be just fine for the time being. There goes the EMP, and it is the big one. Chengdu had been fishing for that. Self-destruct, follow it up. Bada boom, that's going to be the cap. 1 minute either side there. It's like Hollywood all over again.
And look at that. Sabiolbi was one of the members hacked up by Chengdu. We were waiting for the Sombrits, waiting to see who was going to be able to get the better connection. And Chengdu just completely takes the lights out of Sabiolbi. New York not able to be able to defend C. I do have to say, though, defensively as a team, we noted this onto Hollywood, but they were able to hold on for quite a while. And on to Gibraltar, very similar story here. A lot of time for Chengdu after A and B, but going on to C, New York bring this one back to an even 1 minute and 1 minute. Based on the lead that Chengdu had, that's a pretty big loss for Chengdu.
This feels like a classic example of the two different kinds of defense that run down the clock, right? There's the one that Chengdu did, where they run down the clock on each point, but the cart does still move, and then the cap comes through in overtime. Then there's the way that NYXL ended up having to defend, where Chengdu absolutely slam dunked them, but NYXL stopped them up short at the last moment on C, and it only just gets over the line. At the end of the day, it starts to not matter how it happened, because the net result is these teams are once again neck and neck, and that is with match point to Chengdu Hunters.
And I don't think Chengdu want to be in a position where they're only neck and neck here. They had the advantages. They were in the lead. Might I remind you, Chengdu could have held the point on either A or B, and they'll be kicking themselves if they lose this map because of that. New York in position now to try and bring us even 2-2.
I would be utterly impressed if NYXL can claw this one back, because there is still that control after this, but it's been such a nail bite. That's an early pick onto Libero. That's going to force NYXL back. More importantly, that halts their payload progress, and progress is the name of the game here when the time banks are even. Traded out for A-Monk, though. That's way too dangerous for Chengdu.
Can't be giving away those. Getting the first kill to Libero, that's insanely good, but losing Amon could cost the defense. 20 seconds remaining, or waiting for the main tank for Chengdu to come back into the mix. Where's the stoppage, though? When do Chengdu go for this fight?
Sabiolbi as well, leading Jinmu is critical. If Jinmu was maybe ahead on ultimate charge, Chengdu could lean into that, but so far they don't have that possibility. They need to find a pick, and they need to find it fast.
This is going to be overtime. Talked about New York Excel, how dangerous they are into overtime right now.
There it
Taking
goes.
control of the server room.
Thanks,
That's going
sir.
to be kills coming through.
Oh, that's a double. Excellently executed in the server room, and NYXL way ahead in this mix now as Chengdu slowly but surely going to get dropped down, and it is now a distance game. This is the most critical fight for NYXL, because this is the one that guarantees the cap. Everything after this is all about meterage.
The fact that they even get A might just be enough damage done. Chengdu are going to have to do a hell of a job on their own attack. Now, look at this. Jinmu nearly had third. Sabiolbi still has the EMP, but barely. Jinmu should be able to match pretty soon. Chengdu must win this next fight. Otherwise, they could lose B as well.
You've got to see Jinmu get another good EMP, and this time it's going to be even Stevens between him and Sabiolbi, who gets to land it first. Jonak commits. There we go. That's going to be a big catch, and Jonak dropped instantly. Traded out now for Molly, though. The counter EMP wasn't so hot, but if it kills members and Chengdu don't get the kills, then that's all that counts. Again, the payload is still moving, and it's all about meterage more than it is about kills. But you know what's better? Getting the kills as well as the distance. NYXL getting it all and a bag of chips right now. Chengdu struggling to get any kills in response. They're not even stopping this payload, let alone winning the fight.
This will very soon be unwinnable for Chengdu. At this stage, I think New York, even if they lose the next fight over towards C in 1 minute, the fact that they get 2 points is already far too much. Chengdu have really got to step it up now. Where does the buck stop for them? They have a lot, there's still time to stop this push, but really, Chengdu, it has to be sooner rather than later. We're talking about that even onto A.
Well, I'll tell you what, it certainly mirrors the regulation time attack from NYXL, wherein they capped every point in overtime, at least so far. This is just a very different brand of overtime, and we'll have to see if it ends up being that they cap out C. That would be an unmitigated disaster for Chengdu.
Amen. Now he's going to go in with Primal Rage available hot, but
Hot for hack.
You have to prevent him from renecking here. That's a bit of a disaster. Chengdu
Gets back in.
these up.
It's an early kill onto Jonak, though, and that's the critical one that they've been holding out for. Elsa is demexed, but Libero might just go down. Indeed, he will. A-Mark off in the side here, keeping the pressure onto Mano, indeed confirming the kill, and this should be NYXL forced off that cart. The overtime wick will burn down very shortly if no one's on it. There it goes. It's a lot more distance, though, than Chengdu Hunters would have liked to see. It's better than the full cap in overtime, in-time bank, but suddenly Chengdu have gone from a winnable situation to one they are very likely to lose.
I think we're done here. This is going to map 5 for sure. There's no way New York are going to be able to fail this. You look at this kind of positioning and, you know, it would be a bit of a meme if New York did fail. And so far on to Watchpoint Gibraltar, despite Chengdu looking like mostly the better team, the later this map has gone back towards this stage now, New York to me seemed like the far superior team on Watchpoint Gibraltar. At this stage in the game, we look at Chengdu, we look at the early mistakes there. Great kill into Libero early on, but losing Among rather at that stage in the game allows New York just to take position. Chengdu lose all their positioning over towards A, have both their supports kind of stuck in the server room, they get collapsed upon, both of them go down, and then from that point onwards, New York just push on through, they get A, they get B, and pretty soon they'll get all of Watchpoint Gibraltar.
You know, I tend to think you have pretty good opinions, but this time I really want you to be wrong. I really want to see Chengdu somehow pull this out. Certainly I want it to at least be not because NYXL misplay. I want Chengdu to level up again. I want to see them kick it up a notch. I'm ready for this to be an insane finish to the series.
Well, let me spell out how that could happen. Chengdu would need to find the opening kill, unresponded by NYXL. They could get someone like Sabiolbi or Libero or Mano early on. That with New York basically giving up A. After that point, we'll be into the overtime, and Chengdu will need to play off momentum, similar to what New York did.
It's not going to be Sabiolbi. They did get a good bit of damage, but naturally he was able to translocate away. Now it's all about what it is going to be. Chengdu, they cannot waste too much time here.
And already, nearly 30 seconds gone. Just waiting for Amon to be healed back. Jinmu's low now as well. New York has just been holding strong. Chengdu barely pushing in.
Just scrapping. That's all it's been. Beam not quite going to finish off Jonak here as the cart does continue the inexorable march, but fight point doesn't come for a little while yet, and time will be almost at overtime when the cart reaches that point.
Chengdu need to find their moment here. And on the attack, Amon is constantly on 50% HP, and every single time he is, Libero could go in. Speaking of Libero, to get hacked out.
Certainly can't go in just yet. The one advantage actually of Among always being low is it means Molly has an ultimate already, but with that huge biotic grenade, Jonak has one too. He's going to commit his first, and suddenly Chengdu, they have to commit theirs in response. NYXL got the first move in the fight, and now we have to see how Chengdu respond. No one down just yet, but ultimates are going to be a factor. Eyes on the EMP out of Sabiolbi.
Jinmu barely stays alive there, has to translocate away, but still looking for kills. When did Chengdu get some kills? That's the most important thing. New York are looking healthy right now. Nearly the EMP as well. Sabiolbi, if he strikes early, this could be it.
That's got to be the one, and it does come across 4, but they need to get the kills. Sabiolbi loses his own life for it, and Jinmu gets his out in response. It all flipped so quickly. NYXL, who seemed like they had Chengdu Hunters on the ropes, but no, the elasticity, they come back. We take a lot of positioning. Mano, though, is the first casualty. That's what a hack can do to you, my friend. Jinmu, though, traded out of Sabiolbi, is starting to get a little bit unlocked between him and Libero. Just kind of playing ping-pong around this back line, throwing the supports between one another. New York Excelsior were also able to get the cap during that.
And Sabiolbi is absolutely showing up on traces so far. Paulisble available, and of course it's Sabiolbi. He's one of those classically good traces, one of the best traces that we've seen across the league in 3 years. It is a bit of a risky pick though. The confidence level has to be really high. He's gone up against Sombra, he's also gone up against Anna and Brigitte, so this is not an easy matchup for a tracer.
What is worth saying though is Jinmu is dangerously trailing in terms of ult charge. If he got an EMP relatively early, then that's where you see Sabiolbi potentially getting shut down and the Sombra difference being a factor. So far though, Sabiolbi's kind of had free reign.
We'll see what he can do as Libero as well. The dive factor here is going to be huge. Another huge grenade. That's going to be Molly crushed.
Oh, that is now, what, 3 in a row that have landed on exactly Molly and Lengsa. This time they end up being the 2 that go down quite early in the fight as well. But, I mean, if Jonak continues to hit those, it's going to be a clean fight and a clean map for NYXL.
Not only that, but I think the other thing to talk about here is that New York actually use a lot of ultimates. So Jonak instantly dropped the nano boost onto Mano, who, like you said, just crushes Molly, drops on his face. At that stage of the game, Libero also uses duplicates. So the resource has been spent. Chengdu, though, their time to maybe turn things around. They will have a few ultimates available, but we are still looking at Jinmu. Where's the EMP? It's taking so long.
I mean, at this point, he's not going to get it until like a 99% kind of situation. That is if Chengdu don't get the cap now, and I don't know if they're going to have a 99% fight unless this one is over quickly, and it's already taking a while to really get into the swing of it. No one down just yet, but ultimates have been popped. There goes the pulse bomb eaten by Elsa. Among in trouble. He's going to be the first casualty, interestingly enough, and suddenly Chengdu Hunters finding themselves without much left to bring to bear. Barely around this point. Nice EMP at last from Jinmu. Can they find these kills, though?
3 times is the charm. Jonak's going to land it again. Leave slip. Chengdu not out of this one. Just buying time for Among to come back. He's got a primal rage. No connection from Hotba. It's 99%, but Chengdu have nearly capped.
Jonak does have himself a nano boost, and they can just throw that onto the back of someone like Mano as he comes back in. But Sabiolbi, he's going to be on his way out. Hotbat as well, and it feels like, again, another great biotic grenade here from Jonak, but it might not be enough this time around, especially if Molly can stay alive. He can't, but Chengdu have killed more than have died, and off the back of that, you do the math. It looks like they should be able to close this one out. Just need to finish off these last few members. Libero will get a cute little self-destruct, but the cap has actually gone the way of Chengdu now.
Jinmu now, look at 90%. New York are not out of this fight specifically. Sabiolbi still alive. Jonak on the side of Libero as well. Just kind of regrouping with the members. Chengdu still kind of on the back foot here. Waiting for all their members to come back as well.
Look at the EMP though. Jinmu having that one available. It's going to be in a protracted fight. You can even argue this is still a continuation of the same fight as before, and that would make that a second EMP in the course of the one fight. He needs to land big. He only gets 2, but if they kill those 2, then that's 2 plenty enough. There's only 1 man going down so far, but Chengdu still in the driver's seat in this fight. Not anymore. Not with Molly Dunzo. Again, trades though. How does this keep happening? NYXL finally starting to pull ahead, but man, it's been a tough arc.
NYXL pull ahead now. This will be the cap going open. They'll be taking us through the second round of Elias Leave. Is just trying his best to keep his team alive. He's got the duplicate onto the Tracer. He needs to do a lot more damage. Pulse bomb available.
We'll be able to throw that one out. Even gets a stick onto Jones, rather under Animo, but thanks to the rally, it's not enough to secure it. So with that, Chengdu, they actually end up staying in control of the point for a bit longer, and both teams have again more or less regrouped in what is now a continued protracted fight.
Elsa's in a little bit of trouble there, still surviving. That needs to be a kill with this. Lee will finally take down Mano. And this is Chengdu's opportunity now. Linsa with the rally is keeping the team alive, and New York might just have to reset.
Sleep on Sabiolbi as well meant he had to use the recall to get himself out of trouble. So indeed it is a reset from NYXL, and suddenly Chengdu is starting to do exactly what they did on Lee Jung Tao.
They've really had to try and claw it back though, haven't they? Will be another 99 to 99 here at New York. To see what ultimates are available. They might not need too many. That's a huge kill.
That's absolutely disastrous. Among at least keeps it and indeed himself alive using that Primal Rage, but they need to get kills. We keep saying it, that has to be what happens for them. If Mano can get this Primal Rage off as well. Wow, Sabiolbi down, and Jinmu's on his way back in. That could be the trade that they need to keep this one going. Among will go down because those supports were pressured. They couldn't keep on his back. And now the hack to come through, the EMP out onto 3 members, and they're critical members too, but they need to, again, get the kills. How many times have they failed to do that off the back of otherwise great connections? Suddenly Chengdu feel like they're starting to slowly but surely run out of steam.
Leave. He's trying to do his best right now. Among even comes back on the wrecking ball. If you can't win it with Among on the wrecking ball, then surely you don't win it at all. Sabiolbi connection with the Lingsa and Chengdu. I think this might be it.
Trade back onto Mano, but I don't know that that's going to be enough here. The cap comes back the way of NYXL, and Molly is solo healing. They can't get the members on the point, unfortunately, without risking them dying. Molly was pressured out. You do see him kill Sabiolbi, but that was Sabiolbi keeping him off the point, and it is the objective that matters. NYXL have flipped the script officially. They are not going to go down in the 99 to 99. They are going to win what is actually their first round of control this series.
Let me talk to you about what the big difference there for me as well. Okay, Tracer being played by Sabiolbi there. First of all, noted that this could be a risky pick. He's playing up against a lot of heroes on the other side that can counter Tracer quite effectively. However, because New York know how to play this composition, a lot of pressure. You can see that Molly and Linksa from a combination of using Tracer, Echo Dive, but also Jonak hitting Bonades time and time again. 3 or 4 in a row against Molly and Linksa specifically. It just constantly keeps Chengdu on the back foot in terms of their supports, and Molly and Linksa, which is not able to play the game for the majority of that round.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sabiolbi is sticking with the Tracer, and look, if that's the difference maker, if that's what takes NYXL from barely losing control to barely winning control, then you are going to invest everything you have in that pick.
Now looking at this positioning, can New York put the pressure on again?
Oh boy.
So far, it's a bit of a yes.
Yeah, Amon going to get drilled down as well with that anti-nade on him. Unfortunately for Chengdu, NYXL looking good in that opening skirmish, and it seems that the NYXL special is going to outdo the Chengdu special.
At this point in the game, Among, he's even looking to change back onto the Winston. I was going to say as well, so far, you'd say the Winston has been working out a little bit better over the course of the series. Ricky Ball just used to try and play for desperation on that previous Ilios round, but now Chengdu slightly on the back foot. At least Chengdu isn't too far behind, but Molly and Linkser, they're firenated again.
Man, Jonak has been so on the mark. I think like 99% of his biotic grenades have hit both Molly and Linkser and sometimes more players as well.
He's hitting people on cooldown. You see that Elsa was also caught by another Bionade. In fact, it's happening so consistently. Nano Boost going to come through onto Mano.
Hunting for something. Might well just find Leave or maybe even Elsa, who again, biotic grenade lands on him on cooldown. And right now the Chengdu Hunters are split between the half that was retreating from Mano and the half that were on the point. They regroup now with no one dead, but it's all time gain for NYXL. But Mano in trouble now as the nano boost from Molly runs on Among. Can they finish these members off before the Primal Rage kicks in? The answer is a guaranteed no, unfortunately, for Chengdu, who is starting to run out. But Sabiolbi, goodness gracious, that's the special. And NYXL, they look so cool and calm.
I can't believe what I just saw. They say Biolbi drops the pulse bomb on just members flying past his phase, gets 2 kills there, 65% now. New York are absolutely running away with this game, and Chengdu out of options. They don't have ultimates either. Jonak's playing out of his mind. Say Biolbi's back on the Tracer that we know him so well for, and New York look like they're about to close this one out 2-0 on Ilios.
I want to see another one of those, man. I've had Pulse Bomb Starvation, and I'm desperate to see more. Among barely gets the Primal Rage off in the nick of time, but Molly's already go down, and Elsa barely holding on to the mech, but no one's able to heal him up. Lynx are now dead as well. Elsa is entirely reliant on health packs. 95 gonna go towards the direction 99. That's a bump off the edge for Among. I think that's got to be it. 99%, nothing left to bring to bear for Chengdu.
To stay up to date with all things Overwatch League, make sure to check out one of our other recap videos.